HBO's Game of Thrones TV series is not for viewers under 18. But did you know that despite the sex, nudity, violence, and gore, the show is a lot tamer than the book? That's right. There are scenes in the Song of Ice and Fire books that are so disturbing that they had to be modified or even cut out of the television show. From Lady Donella Hornwood being starved to death, to Jeyne Poole's twisted wedding night, to Brienne having her face chewed off. The A Song of Ice and Fire books sometimes get so gruesome that any producer who follows them to the letter would probably end up in jail. Seems exaggerated? Well, fasten your seatbelts and get ready for a ride, because today on Fantasy Archive we will show you 5 extreme scenes that were too dark for Game of Thrones, in no particular order. If you think Daenerys' wedding night scene in the series plot Winter is Coming was messed up, you haven't seen the book. At first, the scene in the book does not seem as controversial as the TV show because Dany gives consent first. But then you remember that the Targaryen princess was just 13 and in no position to refuse Khal Drogo's advances in the first place. Things got worse afterwards when Daenerys was essentially raped every night by her husband. She would lay in bed every night with bloody sores on her bottom, aching legs and back muscles from riding a horse throughout the day. But then every night before dawn, Khal Drogo would come to sleep with her, uncaring of her pain. She couldn't say no, so all she could do was cry into her pillow from the pain of her bruised and sore body. It got so bad that she even contemplated suicide at one point, and she would have gone through with it if it wasn't for her dreaming about a black dragon that purified her with a jet of hot flames. She took strength from that, enough that she started to embrace her life as the Khaleesi. We all know that the Mother of Dragons had a pretty rough time before she became our favorite conqueress. Still, the scenes in the first book about the early part of her marriage paint a pretty detailed picture of how bad she had it. Understandably, the producers chose to steer clear of those and go with the less controversial route of using an older actress in the show. If you mention Lady Donella Hornwood to the average Game of Thrones fan, they'll probably stare at you in confusion. But if you talk about her with the avid fans of A Song of Ice and Fire, you'll probably hear them mention how evil Ramsay Bolton is. Lady Donella Hornwood, nay, Manderley, was Lord Hornwood's wife. In the show, Lord Hallis Hornwood sent 200 men to help Jon Snow and Sansa Stark recover Winterfell from House Bolton in the Battle of the Bastards. However, in the books, Lord Hornwood and his son Darren died during the War of the Five Kings. Lady Hornwood inherited the lordship of the Hornwood lands, but as she had no heir, many suitors kept trying to get her hand in marriage, even though she was past childbearing age. Ramsay Bolton won the claim over the land by seizing the woman during her return from the Harvest Feast and forcibly marrying her. This kidnapping would have been detestable, but not so horrifying if Ramsay hadn't locked her in a tower and forgotten to feed her. She was eventually found dead with blood in her mouth, having starved so much that she ate her own fingers. There are dark scenes in Game of Thrones, but this one would have gotten past anyone's shield and shaken them. Thankfully, it wasn't filmed in the show. George R.R. Martin sure gave us a lot of weddings gone wrong in A Song of Ice and Fire, such as the Red Wedding, the Purple Wedding, Daenerys' wedding, etc. But there was another one that wasn't filmed in the show, but was present in the book. Aryas' wedding. Well, not Arya, thankfully, but an imposter. So you remember Sansa Stark's wedding to Ramsay, right? It was pretty horrible, with the brutality and Theon being forced to watch. But in the book, it was a lot worse. Ramsay did not marry Sansa, but her one-time best friend Jeyne Poole. The girl was the daughter of Jeyne Poole, Winterfell's steward, when Eddard Stark was in charge. Jeyne was passed off as Arya Stark and wed to Ramsay to legitimize the Boltons' hold over Winterfell. On her wedding night, Ramsay forced Theon to undress her and get her ready with his tongue. Before then, the young Bolton had already had her whipped, and scars crisscrossed her back. Unsurprisingly, Jeyne was trembling throughout the whole experience. How badly Ramsay traumatized Jeyne was truly illustrated in the scene when Mance Rayder and 6 spearwives disguised themselves as washerwomen to rescue her. The girl was terrified to leave, believing it was another attempt by Ramsay to test her love for him. She blabbered that she would never try to run away and would do whatever she wanted with him, or the dog. Anything, so he did not chop off her feet. It took Theon Greyjoy's cajoling to convince her to escape while wearing one of the spearwives' clothes. Jeyne was jittery throughout, and she shrieked when they had to kill a guard to sneak out, alerting the castle to their plans. Theon had to take her and jump off the battlements into the snow below, hoping for the best. This scene, especially Jeyne's comment about the dog, didn't make it into the show. Yet even then, Ramsay still ranked highly among the villains in Game of Thrones, showing just how detestable he is. Brienne went through many fights in the show and could hold her own in a scrap, besting even Sandor Clegane. However, one memorable fight scene in the books was absent from the TV show, and that was Brienne's fight with Biter. You might remember Biter from the Game of Thrones scene where Arya traveled with the Night's Watch recruits. He was locked up in a cage alongside Rorge and Jaqen H'ghar. Yes, that's the guy with the sharpened teeth. In the books, Brienne had a mission to find the Stark girls Arya and Sansa, one given to her by Catelyn Stark. She headed to Riverlands after hearing news of Sandor Clegane traveling with a girl. But at the inn at the crossroads near the Trident, they meet with Rorge, who had been masquerading as the Hound and some other former members of the Brave Companions. While defending the orphans in the inns, she was outnumbered and injured, yet she killed Rorge anyway. But then Biter threw himself on top of her, disarming her and starting to strangle her. And when the man saw he was winning, he began to eat her. Yes, you heard that right. Eat. Biter tore off a chunk of Brienne's cheek with his teeth and swallowed it right in front of her. Oh right, and he grinned while doing it. The Game of Thrones show had a lot of messed up scenes, but Biter's cannibalism would have ranked pretty high if it had been filmed. This character, like Lady Hornwood and Jeyne Poole, didn't make it into the TV show, but his experience was one of the sickest torture scenes in the book. The Blue Bard, or What, was a singer working for the Tyrells, a popular one too. Unfortunately, Cersei wanted Margaery out of King's Landing, and she planned to frame the young queen by making it look like she was having an affair. She needed a witness, and the Blue Bard seemed perfect. Cersei kidnapped the singer, and with help from Qyburn, tortured him to get some answers out of him. The Blue Bard was not at first cooperative, but more time under Qyburn softened him until he began to make up lies and edit them until they suited Cersei's purpose. By the end, the singer had lost an eye, a nipple, and most of his teeth, showing just how far Cersei can go to get things done her way. So there you have it, folks. 5 gruesome scenes that the producers had to modify or cut out. There are many other extreme scenes in the book that weren't shown in Game of Thrones, and you can tell us about the ones that had the most impact on you in the comment section below. Check out our other videos for more fascinating tidbits about the Song of Ice and Fire book series. And remember to like and subscribe. Goodbye, till next time.